Hello and welcome to another edition of Stock Watch. So as we enter the back end of the trading week, we hear that General Electrics have agreed to pay a $200 million penalty for misleading investors regarding the profitability and risks to some of its core business lines. So that this order was complied with as it misled investors in 2016 and 2017 about the source of profitability in the General Electric's power business and failed to inform investors on risks relating to portfolio and long-term health insurance. So in turn, General Electric's stock fell by almost 76% in that period from 2016 to 2018. A spokesperson, however, said the company stated it is pleased to reach this agreement finally and put the matter behind them because under the current leadership team, they have significantly enhanced disclosures and internal controls and protocols to ensure a stronger company today. And also in the news, I have to say congratulations to Boeing after their 737 MAX is finally back in service. The troubled plane returns to the skies nearly 2 years after the deadly crashes that had it grounded. So it's the first, well, yesterday was the first in since 2019 in March, marking the end of a 20-month grounding as Go Airlines, which is a Brazilian carrier, ferried passengers from Sao Paulo to Porto Alegre. So other airlines are getting ready to bring back the plane as well, such as American Airlines and Southwest Airlines as well, saying that they're going to try either by the end of this year or by the end of Q1 in 2021 at the latest. So things should be looking up for Boeing after the detrimental downturn that they've had in the last few years, that's for sure. So take a look at General Electrics at the moment. As we can see, just wanted to point out this detrimental downturn in the at the back end of 2016 and for the majority of 2017 and 2018 as we go into the current climate. So as you can see here, very, very detrimental. I'll just bring it down the daily chart so it's a little bit easier to comprehend. So what I'm looking at the moment, I just tidied this chart up, is the obvious here. So this was the peak here that was, well, before the detrimental downturn for the first wave of the COVID. So this is for me the target that General Electric is trying to achieve at the moment. So, but I've noticed a slight bearish divergence on the momentum indicator and a few oscillating indicators as well, which could mean that it could run out of exhaustion at some point. I mean, we've gone through certain peaks in the past, and now prices are trading far away from the Ichimoku cloud, and they're not really hanging on to the indicators neither. So this is a good example of bias uptrend. However, we could see momentum exhausting, but in the next few trading sessions, if we keep a shift on the upside, then I don't see why it can't reach this previous high before we hit the first stages of the lockdown at the beginning of the year. So this is what I'll be looking at with General Electrics. Obviously, the headlines haven't really affected them too much at the moment. It's an ongoing headline. Maybe that's probably because it hasn't really affected the markets that much at the moment. So $200 million is probably a small drop in the ocean for a company like General Electric, so it wouldn't really be too detrimental for them. So like I said before, just looking to see if we're going for the obvious target, which was the previous peak, and we'll see what the potentials are going forward after that. So a quick look on on Boeing as well. And as you can see as well with Boeing, it hasn't had the best time in the last couple of years, but again, detrimental downturn that we saw at the beginning of the pandemic. We've hit this peak, which I was looking at before, which is quite significant, but now we're seeing a little bit of exhaustion. We're seeing a little bit of momentum wane as well. So we could see a bit more of a downturn. So it's finding a bit of support at this previous peak at the moment. So if we can bounce off this support line, then we could probably start looking at further potential on the upside. However, if it starts crashing through, then I'll probably expect it to cover this gap. Let's just zoom in a bit more so we can get a bit more of a perspective here. So I'm probably looking to see if it's going to cover this gap here, which will be the next support for me. And then after that, we're going to see prices start coming down if we see momentum vastly start exhausting as well. So just a couple of things to look out for. The headlines are very positive for Boeing, at least, you know, getting their aircraft back in the skies, with other airline companies following suit, as well as this Brazilian airline, Go Airlines. So We'll see what happens in the next few weeks if more airlines by the end of the year start taking up the 737 MAX as their main carrier. So that's all from the Stock Watch today. Thank you very much for joining me. If you have any comments, as usual, please feel free to add them to the video and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Have a great trading day ahead and bye for now.